My name is Joanne Powell. I'm from West Philadelphia, born and raised. My relationship with my son is like our bond is really strong. We try to tell each other everything like we're best friends. That's like the only person I have. Being in jail was really hard because I knew he wanted to see me, he wanted to talk to me, and I didn't know what to tell him. And then when I did get on the phone with him, I just cried. It felt like your heart was taken out. And then once you get in front of this judge and then he just sets a bail, it traumatizes your family. So then they gotta come up with this magic number that this person then shouted at you to get you back with your family. And what hurts the most is if you can't come up with it, you have to stay there until your next court date.
I wasn't able to graduate high school. I wasn't able to grow with my family. My family was split up. My brothers and sisters were put into foster care. My name is Joshua Glenn. I'm an activist, a community member, a father, a leader, and I'm a survivor of the criminal justice system.
My oldest son, he's 11. The second youngest, he just turned 6. And so they're having fun and it's like fairy tale land. And I'm like, okay, I'll let that happen. I mean, I didn't have much of a childhood growing up because my family struggled. So I don't want them to not enjoy their childhood. I know how important that is.
My dad was talking a lot about the injustice of bail when he was bailed out. All of his brothers and my cousin are either currently locked up or going to be locked up. And I've seen the impact of that state violence on my family. I am deeply enraged by the injustice that my family gets to be together because they had the means to bail him out 3 years ago, while other families, particularly Black families, without the means to buy their freedom, cannot.
Cash bail is a guarantee in the form of money that someone will show up to court and that it's required to post in order to be released from jail, but before trial.
So the No 215 Jail Coalition is a coalition of organizations and groups and community members that are working to end cash bail in Philadelphia. We thought about what could we do to really impact the amount of folks that are being held in jail. And that's when the cash bail topic came into play. And nationwide, there's been an uproar and there's been anger towards these policies of cash bail. And, I mean, the way cash bail works in Philadelphia is that, okay, you're locked up and then a bail is set. But most of the times here, they set a bail that they know you can't pay.
Your family is stressed out because you're there, your kids. The most I was thinking was how am I going to get out of here? Where are they going to get this money from? We don't have this kind of money saved up. We're still trying to make ends meet A to B.
Cash bail is the thing that put people in more desperate situations. I've seen people give their whole life savings to get their loved one out, just for the loved one to be found not guilty for the case. And then they still take 10% out of their money. But we're talking about poor and low income communities. So if you think making them pay money to be free makes our community safe, then you really not, looking or researching what you're saying.
The criminal justice system itself in Philadelphia is totally corrupted. Even if I get a case and I might beat it and get dismissed or thrown out or whatever, it's still on my record.
If a person can't pay bail, they can't afford a lawyer. And so you have a person that's in there in a desperate situation, and then 9 out of 10, they're forcing this person to take a deal. Most folks take a deal.
I've seen it before in Afin race. I've seen 2 people fight the same charges of a different race and one go home and one stay on a bill.
They talk about public safety a lot, but if you're somebody that's rich or you're white and you live on the other side of tracks, you get different treatment. And if you think about how much our communities are being targeted and being damaged, and none of that money comes to our community to like enrich it in any type of way. It's just not fair, and they shouldn't be profiting off our pain.
Hypothetically speaking, in my neighborhood, we're going to say a 5-block radius. If 5 people from each block get arrested, they have to pay a cash bill, and that number adds up to an amount. My question is, what is that money being used for? Where do it go? I think that it could rebuild our community.
We can invest into pretrial services. And so we can invest it into mental health treatment. We can invest it into job placement programs and job training. We can invest it into counseling for inmates that are getting out. We can really use that money to help folks. And if we're not rehabilitating people, then we're destroying people.
We know that the things that keep people safe are social services, are keeping communities and families together.
People might commit crime, but how do we make that person a better person? How do we help them change their lives to the point where they won't reoffend or they won't hurt anybody else?
In cities such as DC, where they hardly use bail at all, people show up to court, particularly with other supports in place. If you don't have stable housing and you don't get the letter that's telling you where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, like, that's a barrier. Bus fare and a reminder call can be the difference between someone spending months or years in prison or going to trial and having the case dropped.
And DC ended cash bail in 1992. They're able to use the funds that they were using to hold folks to invest in pretrial services.
In Philadelphia, people can get involved in the No 215 Jail Coalition and do canvassing with us, can be meeting with city council, doing support service work. There's needs for legal support, policy research. There's really a place for folks to bring whatever their skills and passions are.
I can see Philly being a safer environment without cash bail. My community, other communities, I just see it looking better.